Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to pick number 12 of my favorite 31 hard rock and heavy metal albums of the 80s. We are counting down each and every day during the month of May 2023. Our favorite 31 hard and heavy albums from that great decade known as the 80s. No mean feat, because there were literally hundreds of really good to excellent to great albums from hard rock and metal bands that came out throughout that decade. Right? So this has been a tough month, but you know what? We're having fun with this. A lot of great albums being discussed. So many great albums that we're not discussing. That's always the worst thing. But before we go on with today's pick, I do want to give a birthday shout out here on May the 20th to Philip Albanese from New Jersey. His wife Rosaria contacted me and say, "Hey Pete, Philip watches your show each and every day. His birthday is coming up. He would be totally thrilled if you gave him a birthday shout out. So today is your day, Philip. Thank you for being such a loyal watcher here of all we do on Sea of Tranquility. So happy birthday, my friend. I hope you have a great one. I know if you're in New Jersey, I'm in New York. Rain today. Try and find something fun to do on your birthday. And Rosaria, thank you so much for getting in touch with me. I really appreciate it. Philip, happy birthday. With that being said, on to our pick for today. So this is another double dipper here for the month. So, we have talked about how in the top end of my list there's going to be some repeaters, right? Some bands that are going to come up more than once. So Iron Maiden has already done it. They have repeated. We have 2 Maiden albums so far that have showed up on my list. This is the second band that's showing up more than once. This will be the only other time because they only released 2 albums in the 80s, right? This is their debut album. It was released in October 1983. Produced at Easy Sound Studios in Copenhagen, Denmark. Produced by Henrik Lund for Roadrunner Records. Of course, I'm talking about Is That You, Melissa? Melissa from Merciful Fate. Yes, King Diamond and Company. Their first 2 albums to me are 2 of the greatest heavy metal albums released in this decade. So influential for a lot of reasons. So many people talk about Merciful Fate as one of the bands that's kind of like the genesis of what later became known as black metal. Maybe a little bit. I always thought Merciful Fate were much more than that. Sure, you had a guy singing in King Diamond with face paint and their lyrical content very dark and evil, sure. But musically speaking, the music of Merciful Fate, nothing like what the black metal bands would do roughly a decade later. But drawing from classic 70s heavy metal and even some prog rock, right? So you can hear elements of like mid-70s Judas Priest. You can hear elements of certainly little bits of Black Sabbath. Certainly you can hear some elements of UFO and the guitar playing, right? Michael Denner, Hank Sherman, 2 of the great guitar players of all time. One of the great guitar duos of all time. You can hear elements of like Genesis and King Crimson because they were prog rock fans as well. Some Deep Purple for sure. So, much more than I think what the general perception of some people might be. This band were the real deal. Amazing musicianship, amazing songs, amazing riffs, all that sort of thing. Of course, as I mentioned, King Diamond on vocals, Hank Sherman and Michael Denner on guitars, Timmy Hansen on bass, and Kim Ruz on drums. This is considered the classic lineup of Merciful Fate. After the Don't Break the Oath album, which we talked about a few days back, they would kind of go on hiatus for a number of years until the early 90s. King Diamond went solo, had a very active solo career throughout the 80s, and of course to this day. But he wound up pumping out more albums in the 80s under the King Diamond banner than he did as Merciful Fate. But the songs here are just amazing. To me, this and Don't Break the Oath are very close. I love them both. Over the course of my life since these albums came out, I've kind of flip-flopped back and forth as to which is my favorite. But in more recent years, I have leaned on Melissa just a little bit more because, there are a couple songs on here that are just absolutely amazing. The opening track, Evil, is arguably my favorite Merciful Fate song of all time. So good. That riff is just absolutely killer. Love the vocals. Then you have, of course, Curse of the Pharaohs. Classic. Into the Coven, At the Sound of the Demon Bell. I mean, the side 1 of this album is just can't beat it. And then on side 2, you got Black Funeral, Satan's Fall, killer. big epic song, and then of course the title track Melissa, so evil, so haunting, right? It's just a lot of the King Diamond and Merciful Fate albums and lyrics are horror movies and things like that, and obviously there's the satanic side of things, especially on the first two Fate albums. But King Diamond's he loves like ghost stories and horror stories, and that's just what he's all about. So there's always been this kind of like ominous, spooky nature to their music, which appeals to me because I love horror movies, right? That's a big thing with me. So there's the King right there. Let me see if we got there we go. There are all the guys right there. Oops. Don't want to cover Timmy up, right? Just a great band. Great band. And I had the pleasure of seeing Merciful Fate, a bunch of months ago. And I had never seen them live before. They've always been a bucket list band for me. So that was absolutely a mind-blowing experience, seeing them live on stage for the first time in Brooklyn, New York. That was just absolutely fantastic. So so that's my pick for today. As far as certification, obviously this sort of thing, this sort of music, not really chart-busting type stuff, but this album did peak on the German album charts at number 69. That was really the only charting that this album did anywhere. I remember specifically, Melissa and Don't Break the Oath. I don't remember seeing those albums in the regular record stores at all. I bought those from Steve Keeler at Rock Fantasy when Rock Fantasy just opened up, very early on. So, but of course, this album came out, like I said, in '83. So maybe I bought this at Rock and Roll Heaven. I don't remember, because in '83, Steve wasn't open yet in '83. Although, actually, no, because I did not buy Melissa when it first came out. Don't Break the Oath was the first album I bought, and that came out, a year later. Steve, I think, had just opened up. Well, maybe I might have bought that. Yeah, I think I bought that at Rock and Roll Heaven North. So that, of course, was John and Marcia Z's, the little Megaforth's store that they opened up here in the Hudson Valley back in the 1983 or 84 as a kind of satellite store to their Rock and Roll Heaven store in New Jersey, right? So I think Don't Break the Oath I bought from them. And then shortly thereafter they closed down. So I might have bought Melissa from Steve when Steve opened up Rock Fantasy in 1985. I don't know. I don't remember. Or maybe I bought both of them from John. I don't remember. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. But a great album. It's my pick number 12. Melissa by Merciful Fate. Let us know what you think of Melissa down in the comments below, as well as your pick for today, pick number 12. Tune in tomorrow for number 11. We've got cool stuff coming up here on the channel for you, though. So today is Saturday, so we've got, in just a few minutes, I am actually going to be talking once again to my good friend from across the pond, from over in Holland, right, from the Netherlands, sorry, Mr. Arjen Anthony Lucassen. We're going to be talking about his cool new album, Supersonic Revolution, which, if you haven't heard, is really good. So I'll be talking to Arjen in a little while. You'll see that posted here on the channel later today. We've also got the UK connection coming up at 2 o'clock today, Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be talking about 3 very cool melodic rock albums, melodic rock / AOR. So that's coming up today. I'm also talking to Rich Catino this morning. Rich Catino and I are going to be ranking the catalog of Norwegian symphonic black metal veterans Dimmu Borgir. So that's going to be playing tomorrow. You'll be seeing that tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the channel. Then, of course, we've got the Hudson Valley Squares coming up on Monday as we take a look at our favorite albums from 1986. So lots happening here on the channel, and please tune into all of it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell so you get alert of all these videos as they post. And please do hit the like button before you leave. Also, down below, we've got the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, as well as our merch page. So thanks in advance for all that, and we'll see you tomorrow with pick number 11 here on my 31 favorite hard rock and heavy metal albums of the 80s. Till then, I am Pete Pardo. Take care. See you soon. Bye-bye.